You will never be able to quit smoking. Oops, did I just say that? Yeah, bro. If you don't change the way you think, you'll stay addicted. Not just to cigarettes, but to all short-term pleasures. But here's the good news. You can change this, but, how? Obviously, you'll ask, how am I supposed to quit something this strong? First of all, you need to understand one thing. We are not fighting a habit. We are fighting a full-blown addiction. Do you hear that? It's an addiction, bro. You probably think smoking is just physical dependence. But no. If it were just a habit, people wouldn't struggle with it for decades. They would quit it as easily as they stopped using bad language. One important thing you need to understand: starting smoking is not always your choice, and not always your fault. But do not use that as an excuse. This is a drug, a piece of trash that kills millions. So, you need to get rid of the basic beliefs of a smoker. You might say, "What are you talking about? I just smoke. I don't think about it." But bro, it's exactly because of your dumb beliefs that you can't quit. You keep trying to start a new life, but you can't even quit smoking. So what are we even talking about? Probably the deepest belief is this: quitting smoking is hard, or even impossible. Can you imagine? There are people who truly believe it's impossible, but it's not. You lived without it before, and you were fine. Some people say, "I started at 14. I don't even remember life before." Yes, that happens, but there was life before smoking. Some started at 18, even though they hated the smell before. Some started at 40, during a crisis in life. That's what makes smokers unique. They start at different ages, in completely different situations. So you need to destroy the idea that quitting is hard or impossible. Why? Because this belief traps you. You think, if it's hard, why even try? Understand this. You are the same as millions of people who quit. The only difference, you think it's impossible. And because of that, you don't even try. But most people who quit later say, it was much easier than they expected. But only with the right approach. Imagine this. You decide to quit. You throw away all your cigarettes at night. You promise yourself, that's it. I'm done forever. But in the morning, you wake up with strong cravings. Your brain starts panicking. It realizes, this won't be easy. So you take that hidden cigarette and you smoke. That's it. You're a smoker again. Plan failed. Sound familiar? Yeah. A lot of people see themselves here. But this is normal. Without failures, there is no process. Some people don't smoke for years. Then one moment, and they fall back again. So understand this. Every failed attempt is a chance to analyze, to act better next time, and finally break free. First, you need to understand what type of addict you are. Partially dependent, occasionally dependent, or fully dependent. I'll use myself as an example. I become fully addicted to anything harmful. If I start, I don't stop. If you're like this, your situation is harder. Reducing the dose will not work. You will always increase it again. So it's pointless. In that case, you need to quit completely. Same with things like porn addiction. How do you even imagine quitting it gradually? You don't. So if you struggle with that, you need to cut it off completely. Same with cigarettes for people like me. You need to understand a few simple things before quitting becomes easy. Because how many times did you try using willpower and fail? If you want to understand this deeper, read Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Smoking. Yes, you've probably heard about it 100 times, but it's worth it. Because of your own skepticism, you never finished it. Or never even started. You create limits in your own head. You convince yourself that you can't quit. And this is one of your biggest weaknesses. Convincing yourself that you are weak, that you are incapable. That's what stops you. You're afraid. Afraid of what life will be without that morning cigarette or that vape hit. But nothing will change. In fact, it will get better. Imagine that. There are only benefits, but you turned it into a problem. You think you won't be able to relax, but nicotine gives you a false sense of relaxation. You convinced yourself of that to justify your addiction. You probably thought at some point, who are you to tell me all this? Here's the answer. I smoked, vaped, used different stuff for more than 4 years. Maybe it's not that long, but I wanted to quit. And I did. So you can too. I tried everything. Switching to vape, quitting gradually, using snus, relying on willpower. None of it worked. At least for most people. I was just like you, addicted. Thinking only about getting the next dose. Like a drug addict. The only difference, it's legal. I quit more than a year ago. And I can tell you this. A few days ago I relapsed and vaped for half a day. But I stopped it quickly. Relapses are part of the process. The important thing, stop immediately. Because if you think, I'll just have one more, you're lying to yourself. Deep down, you know you'll go back. Same with alcohol situations. If you smoke just one while drunk, don't fool yourself. You'll become a smoker again if you don't stop fast. Nicotine addiction comes back very quickly. And no, nicotine replacements won't save you. Gums, patches, snooze, all that stuff. Snus is even worse sometimes, higher doses. And gums or patches don't solve the real problem. You still want to smoke. So what's the point? Focus on quitting completely. Understand the mindset of a smoker and a non-smoker. A non-smoker doesn't struggle. A smoker is always thinking about the next hit. So, now you understand my idea. Or maybe you don't. But it doesn't matter. Because if you really want it, you will quit without any gurus like me. I'm just sharing my experience. I did it. And you can too. You just need to work on it. If this resonated, show some support. And good luck living a life without addiction.